Welcome back to the Claw Pod. Hi, my name is the Ant-Man. Just to my left, Ross Von Erich. His left, his brother, Marshall Von Erich. Good to see you guys again. How are you feeling? It's warmer here in Texas right now.
You know, I'm not liking it very much because I'm a winter guy, but everyone else is, it seems. Everyone else is loving it.
You told us that a couple of weeks ago, and I found that fascinating that you're a winter guy when you lived the majority of your life in Hawaii and Texas.
Yeah, I know, because we didn't have seasons, man. I love Christmas. True. I love Christmas lights, all that stuff. So yeah, winter time is always like the happiest time of year for me, and I go into like a sulking depression for the first like 2 months when spring hits.
Yikes!
Yeah,
the opposite of everybody else.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, the birds are coming, the flowers are blooming, and Marshall's I'm
pouting.
Marshall's in a fetal position somewhere.
Yeah.
Before we get into this week's topic, we started talking before we hit record, and I said, stop, let's do this on the podcast. So I watched it. I believe, Marshall, you said you watched it?
Yes.
Elimination Chamber from this past weekend, but Ross has not, and Ross doesn't spend a lot of time online either. And so you don't know what happened.
I missed it, man. Especially I saw a little bit of what was going on, but I didn't see the finish, the most important part. So
you have no idea that we now live in a world where John Cena is a heel.
Ooh, that's interesting.
I can't believe you missed it. It's pretty crazy.
Incredible. Very end, of course. We had the men's and women's Elimination Chamber matches. Congratulations to Bianca Belair and to John Cena. They are both going on to WrestleMania to vie for a title. But we also had an incredible unsanctioned match with Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. Just spectacular, top to bottom.
Man. You know, you're going to get a great match when they're in the ring together, or if they're just in the ring at all, it's going to be a good match. And so together,
not only in the ring together in their home country, in Toronto, Canada. Mm-hmm. And so,
so you know, they're going to go all out.
100%. Yeah. But of course, then we saw the very end, or most of us saw, Ross did not. The very end, Cody had to respond to The Rock to tell him whether he would sell his soul or give his soul to The Rock. That's what The Rock asked for on a SmackDown a couple of weeks prior. And it was that he wanted to give Cody everything. Right now, Cody was the people's champion, but he wanted Cody to be his champion. And he had until Elimination Chamber to respond. Yeah, exactly. So, of course, the men's Elimination Chamber ends. John Cena's the winner. The cage goes up. Cody comes out to congratulate I was going to say CM Punk. I meant John Cena, saying the two of us are going to WrestleMania. It's the normal happy-go-lucky, but I'm here to get your title, John Cena. And then The Rock's music hits, and I thought we're going to see John Cena and The Rock passing the aisle, because this is going to be a thing between John Cena between Cody Rhodes and The Rock. But first, Travis Scott comes out, rapper Travis Scott.
Yeah, that threw me off a little bit.
Just weird, right? And then The Rock behind him, they walk to the ring very slowly, kind of Undertaker-like. It took 10 minutes for him to get to the ring. But then while they're in the ring, I noticed, I said this to my wife, we're about to turn in, we're laying in bed finishing the show, and I said, there's no reason for John Cena to be in that ring now.
I know, I was thinking the exact same thing.
Something is about to happen.
Like, where are they going to go with this? Okay.
Yes. And so Rock goes, now's the time. You need to answer the question. You'll come embrace me if you accept it. If you don't, the dream ends today. And Cody, it was the only, they had Holy Blank bleeped out when the crowd was chanting that throughout the show when big spots would happen. However, camera closes in tight on Cody and they don't bleep it. Says, "Hey, Rock, go F yourself."
Was that because of Netflix? How'd they get away with that?
It's Peacock, and I don't know.
Not Netflix. Yeah.
Maybe they get one pass. I don't know, because every other thing that happened afterwards was bleeped out as well. So maybe if it's
they made it count. Okay, I see.
I wish I would have known that, because I got getting my son into wrestling and making him watch the whole thing. And, sure, it's friendly. No, right out the gate, Cody came out there and said that, and then Cody's the one guy I want him to watch.
Hey, son, come here. This is real wholesome here. Okay, watch this.
Exactly.
Oh, great. Thanks for teaching my kid a new word. Appreciate that. The best one of all, right?
Thanks, Peacock.
So, and what's interesting, you need to go back and watch it, Ross, and anybody else who hasn't seen it, because it's just amazing how they did it. Because while Cody is saying that to The Rock, John Cena is like, yeah, like cheering in the background.
Yeah, just backing him up.
And Rock just lets it simmer. The crowd is, excited because Cody said that one that he dropped the F-bomb, I guess, on TV, and then two that he told The Rock off. And then Cena comes over and slaps hands with him and hugs him, and when he pulls him in, the face changes.
Yeah,
and he stares right at The Rock.
His body.
Yeah, over Cody's shoulder. He stares at The Rock, and The Rock goes. And so when Cena backs up,
that sounds
kicks him right in the nuts.
Oh, beautiful. I get it though. I get it if you're gonna use a curse word like that and not bleep it out. When you save it for the perfect time, that's so wrestling.
Dude, it's smart too. It shows what they see in Cody, like, because you hear from at least the Office, from the Office perspective, he's like the best champion you can have. He's like the hardest working guy.
Yeah.
But for them to make the guy John Cena to turn for Cody that's huge. That's like a really big. I feel like it's a really big deal.
Yeah, there's a lot of implications, I feel like, in there.
Well, John Cena takes Cody's watch, his Rolex, from his father, the one that I believe Triple H and those guys ended up finding one exactly like it, like his father pawned, and takes it. It falls off of him after Cena kicks him between the legs, and Cena uses that to repeatedly attack Cody's head, and that goes away. Then he takes the title and hits him with it. When he does that, he gets color. He's bleeding in the ring. But I want to ask you guys, from your perspective, I don't know how many times you've been in the ring with a celebrity who is not a wrestling fan, but not a wrestler, not a worker, not somebody that you work with, but they get involved physically. What that means to you guys and how you handle that, because there was something I honestly found. All of it was, hit you in the emotions, made you feel a certain way, sick to your stomach or excited, depending on what side of the fence you're on and what you like. But they had there towards the end, they had Cena on Cody's legs with his back facing up, and Travis Scott holding his arms is what it's supposed to be, and Rock whipping him with a weight belt. But before he does, Travis Scott, Cody has his head turned to the side. Now, mind you, he's been punched in the face with a Rolex. He's been hit in the head and starts bleeding from getting hit with a title belt. But then Travis Scott takes it upon himself to open palm from back here. You can see that they see it there. Back here, smack Cody in the face. And you see, Cody wasn't expecting it. Mm-hmm. And turns his head in. And afterwards, you see he'll have a black eye the next time he's on TV. I mean, he was like he hit him in the eyeball.
Like I didn't even see this part, but I guarantee they told him to just hit him. He said, "Hit me as hard as you can." I guarantee.
Dude, that's why I think Anthony's valuable for us to have, because he catches little things like getting hit in the head, getting hit in the face with a Rolex. I totally forgot about the storyline with the Triple H, and which is weird too. Wasn't that kind of like wasn't like really a part of the storyline? It was like a I don't know, like a. It's like a real moment. Like it
was. It wasn't on TV, or it wasn't in public. They didn't. I don't even. They may have filmed it. I don't know, but they didn't show it on normal television as part of a storyline. But back in the day when Cody was going to L.A. to start, trying to break into movies and what have you, Dusty pawned his Rolex to help pay that way. Well, that's been a big story, and so Triple H and not Ari Emanuel, but Khan, not Tony. Nick Khan. They went and they said they found it. I don't know if it's that watch or if they found the same model or whatever, but they gifted it to him after he won the title at WrestleMania 40. And that's the watch that he wears all the time. And it's the one that fell off, and it's the one that John Cena was using.
See, that stuff makes it, because it's like it blurs the lines and it makes it like fun. One thing I didn't like, but I could be wrong and I could be pre-assuming, but few weeks ago, they've been doing those press conferences. So anytime The Rock comes, they do those press conferences after. I guess part of me would like The Rock just to stick full heel, and I don't know. That was the only thing that's like, okay, guys.
Completely agree.
Yeah, that bothered me.
So I mentioned this over on the Wrestle Chat podcast. I talked about this a little bit there, just solo, and I was going into it. I find that part of it disconnecting, because now this would be the equivalent is if you go, man, it was really great jumping back into the role of Maui and getting together with a whole cast of Moana 2, and man, it was really great to create this brand new movie. That's how he's treating wrestling now. Man, it was really great to get into the role of the final boss. And, Cody and I had some Terramana backstage, and we're both excited about this storyline. I don't want to know that part.
Me either. Me either. That's why the watch meant so much, I think. When you're telling me just now, like, oh, is that real? Is this real? That's just more fun to believe. Let's cut to the chase. We all want to believe it. Come on.
Well, this is not our topic today, but it is something I wanted to ask you about. But I want to back to this real quick. You said that you guarantee, or you think that they told Travis Scott to do that. Is there any chance that they didn't, and he took it upon himself? Just
I don't know, man. I honestly,
I there was probably a if you feel it kind of thing, and but I think just a rule of thumb is if somebody is not a wrestler and they're going to do something physical, I think it's
some risk.
I mean, unless you're maybe Floyd Mayweather, and which I think he went about 90% maybe.
And it could be one of those things, because Cody's a nice guy too. Like right before they went out, like, hey man, can I get a hit? Can I get a hit in there too? My family's watching. Weird stuff like that happens, and then like that's something that the office will see later. Like
regardless, whatever they planned before worked great, because people like us are.
We're talking about it.
Yeah, we're talking about it.
Out of the whole thing, John Cena turning heel, which for me is up there with the reason. I'll tell you why I think it's bigger than Hulk Hogan turning heel. People were not cheering Hulk Hogan anymore anyway when he turned heel. Mm-hmm. He was already kind of, Hulkamania had already kind of just seen its last breath. It was definitely on the downcline. John Cena was back for his final run, and it was the biggest pop in the chamber. When his music hit, the whole place went crazy.
That's why it was so unexpected. Yeah.
And that's when you flip it. So that being as big as it is, me seeing another angle of Travis Scott smacking the living out of Cody Rhodes disturbed me a little bit. And it made me really, really uncomfortable.
Me too. I don't know why, but the way you explained it makes sense. But felt like it was just unnecessary and rubbed me the wrong way.
Because he had just gone through all that. The dad's Rolex, insult to injury, the belt that he worked so hard for, his dad couldn't get.
And is he part of this angle or anything? Like, he just show it.
Then a celebrity that's, held in high esteem by, a lot of people. Boom. He gets one over on you in front of the people. So,
yeah.
Man,
it just made Travis look like a bad guy.
Let me ask you this too, and I know I'm asking you to pull back the curtain on some stuff. So if you don't feel comfortable, that's okay. And if your dad's watching right now, he'll say no. You don't answer this, I'm sure. But is that worthy of a receipt later?
Because he's a celebrity, I
would say no.
Yeah, he didn't really know what he's doing.
Yeah,
that's why I'm excited to ask you guys that. So, because for me, I'm like, oh, it's definitely for sure.
If it's a celebrity, it's all business, baby. You just keep it like that. Yeah,
but that stuff backfires, because I remember Ross and I like to if we're wrestling some heels, we don't do it anymore, but every now and then you bring his arms behind his back, go to the front row, and like a little kid slap him or whatever. So one time we're having a show at the Gas Monkey in Dallas, and and so we made some friends at 105.3 The Fan. Some O linemen came to the show, and they were loving it, man. They were loving it, and these guys are just huge, like massive. So I brought one of those. We're wrestling the Aero Club, and I brought him over there and had his arms behind his back, and I let this little kid slap him, and then this 6'8" like offensive lineman, whatever. He's like, "Can I try?" And his hands just massive.
Massive,
I was like, I was like, not the face, man, not the face, not the face. But the dude didn't hear me, cocked back and went right for his face, and I pulled him back right before it would have KO'd him. But I was like, it kind of looked weird because I obviously protected the heel. I didn't want to get KO'd, but he chopped him. But I was like, dude, you're gonna kill him if you hit him in the face.
Jeez, man.
Well, to answer the question whether he's part of this feud or not, somebody asked in the press conference afterwards if Travis Scott was going to be a part of this storyline moving forward, and Rock said, absolutely.
He is.
That's
Okay.
why he was there tonight.
Okay. Then it makes sense to me.
Well, I'll tell you,
makes
just as a
sense,
fan, I hope he gets his comeuppance from Cody.
Yeah,
just
man.
I mean, if you want to bring out Dana White and the Slap Club or Slap Fest, whatever that show is, bring the little podiums and you just have them do that, I'd be okay with that too.
That would be. Does Travis Scott? I am so out of touch with like rap and all that crap. But does he have like a rival or anything?
Even like a Drake and Kendrick Lamar, and I don't know.
They're pretty cool. Cody came out.
Let's see how into mainstream media they bring these feuds and who they bring in. So it's already pretty interesting right now.
Yeah, dude, it's it really is a hit or miss when companies do that and try to just grab the younger the youth. It is hard, but honestly, WWE has done a good job with.
Dude, they did a great job in the '80s of doing that too.
Yeah,
they did. Rock and wrestling.
Yeah, man.
Absolutely. Like Cyndi Lauper,
right?
Using the ISHO speed, Logan Paul, like those influencers, KSI. People talk about wrestling like it's cool again. They really do. In the comments, nobody's saying like, yeah, but it's fake. Like if for you to say that, you just don't. You don't so much that you don't get. Yeah.
Agreed. Well, you guys that are watching right now or listening, thank you first of all for being here today on the Claw Pod. And if you know anything about rap feuds, and you know if there's actually anybody that Cody could maybe go grab and pull into this to go up against Travis Scott, we'd love to.
Maybe it is Kendrick. I guess he dusted what's his face. Great.
Or if you guys want to just start one and
you start one, you can
feel the fire. Yeah, that's cool too.
And that ties right into today's topic, and that is underrated feuds. Some of our favorite underrated feuds, not the ones that stack up and have been going for WrestleMania after WrestleMania after WrestleMania. I mean, we've got a big one here with just Rock and Cody that honestly I wasn't anticipating until what went down last year. I thought it would be Rock and the Bloodline, or Cody and the Bloodline, or Cody and Roman Reigns. That's what would kind of continue going back and forth for a little while, or just members of the family. But I mean, it's specifically The Rock. That one's a big one. We're talking about underrated ones today, ones that were great. Maybe didn't last long. Maybe don't talk about them. But when you go back and watch those matches, you go, dang, that was a good match. Or, man, that was a good feud. This should be fun today. Ross, let's start with you. What's your favorite underrated feud you want to hit this morning?
If we're just saying underrated as in like not mentioned as much as it probably should, Tully Blanchard, Magnum T.A. in the 80s, they remember they had like their big, it was an I Quit match, but there was a lot that led up to that, and they just, I think they touched all the bases like in the build up, I think.
Interesting.
Let's go deeper.
I don't remember.
Ross.
I remember both of those guys. This particular feud, I don't remember.
Okay, I like yesterday I was watching the Starrcade match, and just the I think it was 85, but the commentators during that match did a great job of filling you in on everything leading up to that. So I felt like I was part of the whole feud, but yeah, I guess the commentators did a great job.
No, dude, commentators are so important. I still think that. I think that's like the most important, especially for a kid. Not the most, but dang.
And really quick and obvious one. Marshall, you're probably going to get mad, but Stan Hansen and Misawa and All Japan.
Don't you dare!
Anything they did, it was great in the 90s.
What was great about that one?
It just, you knew the crowd was going to be intense. There's going to be it's going to be hard hitting. It's going to be there's going to be some big moves, maybe some people getting thrown on their head, and some clotheslines from hell, probably from Stan Hansen.
Well, back to this Tully one. You said that it was a start. Was that the blow off at a Starrcade?
Yeah, I think it all led up to Starrcade, I think in 85. I mean, they had worked before, but they had like an actual feud going into this one. And
do you remember how the feud started?
I don't.
Yeah.
Shoot. But
if I had to guess right now, I would say, and I know we're not talking about refs on this particular episode, but if I had to guess that the ref in that match was Tommy Young.
I wonder if,
go back and watch. He was my favorite ref growing up.
Dude, that's cool. You had a favorite ref, man. That's cool.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it was funny. He was brought into. He was the first one that I ever saw, and it may have been this match. If I'm probably wrong, I'll say that. I remember it not being a Ric Flair match or something else, but it was Tommy Young was the first one that I saw ever use instant replay in pro wrestling. And
really?
That's why that kind of stuck in my head. Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, that's how old were you? Sorry, I'm going off topic.
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I was a lot younger than I am now. That's for sure. But yeah, it was. But some of those feuds back then too felt really, really personal. Back in, like you said, the 80s. If you did, obviously, I don't think you watched that in the moment, did you, Ross? You watched this on?
No. It was before my time, but
yeah,
man, you can really just get into those 80s angles, and I think maybe the crowd being as into it as they were, and the wrestlers too. It just, everything combined just made for great angles back
It's
then.
so hard to pick one, one underrated rival, because I feel like there was just so many, because there's so many underrated guys, wrestlers, that you just feel like they could have been used better, but the timing that they were there, this guy was there and he was getting pushed or whatever. Kind of like, I feel like it's kind of difficult that CM Punk and Cody Rhodes arrived at WWE at the same time. Because I was really curious how they're going to do that. And maybe that's why they're doing the John Cena stuff. Maybe it's CM Punk's turn. I don't know.
Another
go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah. Kevin Steen and El Generico. That's a more modern one. And,
yes.
It's not like a heated one as much, but it's going to be a great match. Isn't
it funny how that is coming back up and people are going back and watching? And I believe that was in Ring of Honor, if I'm not mistaken. Kevin Steen and El Generico, which are Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. Seeing those guys, a lot of people are going back and watching those matches now because of the feud that's happening today.
So good.
No, dude, they have great matches at Ring of Honor, Japan. Yeah. Like, they've had so many brutal, crazy matches. I wonder when they go over their matches if they even talk. There's like, you're going to do what we did in 2017,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Marshall, how about you? What's your? I mean, you said it's hard to pick one. Let's pick one just for conversation's sake.
It's hard to pick one, but I feel like I don't talk about Ken Shamrock very much, anyways. But I've always loved Ken Shamrock. Like, I don't know. I just like that he brought the real aspect to professional wrestling. I feel like that was kind of what my dad tried to do in his generation, And Ken Shamrock and my dad actually had kind of a relationship in a way. They were gonna
cool.
Yeah, my dad had an opportunity to be one of the announcers or referees for the UFC when it first started. And my dad was going to do it. And then in order to do it, he was going to go fight for this promotion called Pride and all this stuff, which is all the stuff that me and Ross are super into. My dad didn't do it. So Ken Shamrock kind of took his place in that. And so we've always just liked Ken Shamrock a lot. Yeah. But when the one in particular, him and The Rock, when they feuded, I thought it was cool. It's watching it later as a wrestler, I can see that not that Ken Shamrock was green, it was just came from a different world, just came from a different world. And I kind of honestly felt like The Rock did really a really good job at like not exposing him as a pro wrestler, but using his like strength and stuff, using Ken's strengths as a as a fighter, as a combat guy. Yeah. But I liked that Shamrock and The Rock. I thought that was kind of cool. And then Ross took it, Stan Hansen, all that stuff. And when he did the Kobashi stuff, I thought that was cool. Ross and I obviously hung out last night and watched the same stuff.
Cuddled on the couch.
Yeah.
The Ken Shamrock Rock.
I was a spoon, by the way. Sorry.
There was one of those. Yeah. There was in that feud, if I'm not mistaken, is when Ken Shamrock told The Rock to hit him full force in the face.
Yeah. That's why.
Not the head, the face.
Yeah, he's like, all right.
That's why Ken Shamrock's nose is like this.
Tough guy.
I know. There's guys like that in wrestling, and you have to love them, but they're just like there's a dude like that in AEW who's like hey man, when you give me that backdrop, try to make me like land on my head. Like I want it to feel. And those guys are always the funnest to wrestle. Because, they like getting hurt for some weird reason. And so
try to drop me on my head.
Yeah. I was like, but you don't think like this is gonna make me look like a horrible wrestler?
Yeah, no, he didn't say that. Yeah.
It's gonna make me look dangerous. But okay, I'll do it.
The one that I go to. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
For some reason, getting into wrestling, maybe it was just like my kind of archetype or something I could relate with. But I did always like Ken Shamrock. But when I was a kid, I liked Steve Blackman. Nobody really remembers that guy.
Oh yeah,
the Ultimate Weapon or whatever. He was just not a ton Lethal of personality, weapon. But he was just tough and he did cool kicks and stuff. And as a little kid, you're just like, that guy's cool. He didn't talk a whole lot, but he just handles business. But
in fact, I preferred that he didn't talk during that.
Yeah.
He was terrible on the mic, but he was. I think it was he was the Lethal Weapon.
The Lethal Weapon. That's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that was in the era of Jean-Claude Van Damme movies and what have you. And this guy was like the walking, talking real guy who could kill you.
Yeah, had like the Street Fighter setup. He's kind of cool.
Anthony, do you know a little off topic, but do you know Stan Hansen's? You remember how he got in trouble for the heart punch? I still don't know if that was like a work or. But remember, he punched some dude in the heart and could never wrestle in America, or I think it might have been WWE. No. Was that real?
No, I don't remember that.
Dang, man. Okay, I feel crazy because I mentioned.
Now I'm going to have to go look it up.
Me either. I've never heard of that.
Really? Okay. I'm going to ask ChatGPT. He'll find out.
Ask ChatGPT? Is that what you just said?
Dude, ChatGPT has been my Google. It's crazy. It's crazy.
That's good. So my underrated feud is The Undertaker and Jeff Hardy. These guys completely opposite. I'm on camera here. So you got Undertaker and you got Jeff Hardy. Like just as far as physical size, looking at them in the ring together was just like, oh, Undertaker's going to kill him. But they ended up having a ladder match for the undisputed title on a Monday Night Raw, which is for a title match and one that you go, well, it's a ladder match, and Jeff Hardy is the one who initiated it, so you could see maybe Jeff actually winning this title. In fact, it was one of the few. I mean, there are many great lines from JR, but there's only a few that stick out as like, oh, this is one that's going to live forever. And that one was climb the ladder, kid, make yourself famous. And even though that he didn't, he climbed the ladder, he didn't win the title, but he did make himself famous from that match.
Heck yeah.
And Taker gets on his motorcycle after winning and starts to drive off. Comes back in because Jeff Hardy was getting back up and he beats him down again, gets back on his bike, rides to the top, and Jeff says, you haven't killed me yet. Gets on the mic and says, hey, he screams at him, tells him to stop. You haven't killed me yet. And Taker goes back to the ring and instead of beating him, takes his hand and raises it.
That is awesome, man. That is, I was there just now.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I remember that. And it made me think of my favorite, I feel like underrated tag team is X-Pac and Kane. I thought that was so cool.
Oh, absolutely. Love that tag team.
100%. Cool? And they kind of mimicked about that. Yeah. They kind of mimicked a little bit when Daniel Bryan and Kane did their thing, but I loved X-Pac. I can't say his name.
X-Pac.
You just called him X-Box, I think.
Yeah, X-Box is a great wrestler.
Well, in this day and age, that he would have been branded Xbox just for be able to put the brand on it.
Yeah. Dang, dude, I'm gonna go watch some Undertaker. I'm gonna go watch that.
Do it.
Yeah, because that's like feel good wrestling. I feel like
it really was, and it's actually kind of. I was gonna say it's not really that long of a match, but it is a long match. And I'll tell you, the first 5 minutes don't even happen in the ring. I think Jeff gets in the ring long enough for the bell to ring and he comes back out. But the first 5 minutes of the match is all on the outside. They get in the ring for about a minute.
That's
and
right.
Then for the next 3 minutes is on the outside on the other side. And he takes a beating from Undertaker.
Jeff Hardy should get more credit because I really do feel like he's one of the first guys that made the fans feel like they could do it. Like, man, that guy's just like me, man. He was backyard wrestling. Like, he really did. He really did.
Yeah. He was the archetype for the fans. Definitely.
That's who we related to as kids. Jeff Hardy and Matt Hardy. Like, we thought they were just, oh man, if they're like us, or you can just relate with them. I don't know.
Who was your favorite underrated feud? Please drop a comment and let us know who some of yours were, and we'll share those next week here on the podcast. If you're watching right now on YouTube or Spotify, thank you so much. Make sure you hit subscribe and like this episode. On both of those platforms, you can comment too. So on Spotify, you can comment. On YouTube, obviously, you can comment. If you're listening right now on Apple or iHeartRadio, thank you for that as well. And if you wouldn't mind, go rate this podcast. We're new. We're only 9 weeks in. And so every little bit will help us get this podcast out further. And already, last week's episode is the highest rated episode we've ever had. I don't know where we are right now on numbers, but it was the best one so far. And don't tell your dad that yet, or he'll be on. He'll just show up on every episode. He's like, yeah,
you know why? It's because I didn't break kayfabe. You guys should learn something from that.
That's exactly
we also
right.
did a documentary on the guy.
And that I'm joking about. He's always. I told you that last week. He's always welcome on if he wants to come on. And when he's finished too. He just gets up and walks off.
He walks off. Yeah, man. Ross had that great idea of, hey, we should get a microphone. We get us attached to Dad, which we need to do anyways for videos. But we almost had a mishap because that old boy started walking to the bathroom, and I'm so glad we cut the line.
Cut the audio.
Glad we were at the end. End. Yes, we were finished in this. Thank you guys for hanging out with us today, and make sure you drop a comment with your favorite underrated feud. We want to share what yours are next week as we kick off the podcast here, and we'll have a brand new Claw Pod coming up next Thursdays. Thank you guys for hanging out. We'll see you then.